until that day when all are one. Autobots, transform and roll out!
Hello there guys, and here we are for Transformers Animated Autobot Jazz. Now, if you're watching this, you probably already know who Jazz is, but if you don't, Jazz is essentially the cool, suave, hip Transformer, you know, usually played by a black actor, and he's loyal to Optimus Prime, but he's also kind of a groovy Transformer, so to say. He really likes and respects Earth's culture. He appreciates what humans have to offer on Earth, and he actually models his character, his persona on Earth after the human's culture. For example, his name is Jazz. It takes on the form of like a car he thinks is cool on Earth. And he was an original Transformer. He originally starred in G1, and he's actually one of the first Transformers who actually speaks in the original cartoon series when he replies to a question Optimus asks him. But in the original G1, I think he acted partly as a spy or as a patrol Transformer. I don't know, because I haven't seen too much of G1 recently. But in G1, interesting thing, he was voiced by Scatman Crothers, who you may know as the black guy in The Shining. I also believe he was Hong Kong Phooey, and he had a little role in the Aristocats. So, yeah, Scatman Crothers voiced him in G1. In future Transformers series, there would be characters that weren't called Jazz, but were obviously built off of the character of Jazz. And in G1, he essentially shares the same characteristics, but he is actually a ninja Transformer, and he's one of the few to summon the Allspark along with Prowl in Transformers Animated. He's very well done, as you can clearly see, he definitely looks different from other Transformers series. His car is a little bit more cartoony and stylish, whereas in G1 he had more of a simple, laid-back sports car design. But let's turn him around. Here we go. Whoops, and let's get that back. Here we go. Autobot Jazz, Elite Ninja. Autobot Jazz has studied Earth culture since he first became aware of it. He loves everything about it. The music, the movies, the vehicles, and of course, the style. He's usually a pretty chill guy, being a cyber ninja but he can barely contain his excitement at finally getting to check out Earth and gives his new vehicle mode a spin. His excitement won't make him forget his duty. However, he is a master of hand-to-hand combat with the fastest fists on Cybertron. I didn't know that. Thought the fastest fist would have belonged to say somebody like Lugnut. Anyway, exhaust pipes convert to energy chucks. Let's see, galactic powers and abilities. Master of Circuit Sue. Even more powerful than Prowl. Wow. Prefers hand-to-hand combat to fighting at a distance. Master of Cybertron Elite Guard. Learn more at Transformers.com, and here you have advertisements for Snarl, Soundwave, and Oil Slick, who I've never even heard of. Sports car mode and robot mode. Simple enough. You probably already know the gimmicks of what he looks like, so I'm going to open him up and I'm going to give you all my verdict. Okay, well, after looking at this toy, I have to say it's a pretty heavy toy. Not in a sense, I mean, it weighs a lot, but it's a pretty intense and overall somewhat complicated kind of Transformer. But let's start off with the basics, the vehicle mode. To start off with, this car is actually pretty well made, and I would dare say it's actually the best vehicle mode Jazz has ever had. It's sort of like a cross between something that looks fast and technologically advanced, but at the same time it's kind of old school and stylish. As you can see, it kind of looks like an old 1940s or 30s vehicle, except it has a few twists on it that makes it look modern. The front actually kind of reminds me of. Have you ever seen one of those live-action Disney movies with the car that's live? I forgot the name. I think it's Herbie or Kirby. Yeah, this Jazz kind of looks like Kirby. It's got great blues, great reds. The headlights are very well detailed. The bumper's cool. it has this nice it has this nice back. Look at how these curves just leap off the car. The backlights are also well done, and I also like this this little, I forgot, what do you call this part of the car? This back storage that they give it. Almost looks like you could fit a license plate on there. And when you move it to the side, it has these nice kind of over-the-top headlights. And the black on the window works very well. In fact, if you actually put in the light, it almost looks like it's real glass. And the tires also have some nice detail on them. The wheels, I think, also fit good. And these exhaust pipes are awesome. And it's even more clever how they later in the toy turn into the nunchucks. But we'll get to that later. However, there are some problems. First of all, when you transform him back, it's kind of hard to get every peg to snap in place, especially here. As you can hear, there's kind of a thick line that you're supposed to connect, but it's not really that easy. So you're going to have a lot of trouble getting a perfect Jazz vehicle mode if you want to transform him back. It's the same thing with this area right here, connecting the wheel shield to the lower middle of the car, but they kind of cleverly hide that with the exhaust engine, as you can see. The only bad thing about this vehicle mode really is the undercover junk, as I would like to call it. You can see Jazz pretty easy right there. His hands, of course his head, his shoulders, his arms, his legs, and even I actually thought this was an auto symbol at first, but it's pretty clear that if he was a spy, he would not do that well. He would not blend in that well. But still a very good vehicle mode. It's definitely one that's great to look at. And it rolls pretty well. Rolls as great as, say, a Hot Wheels or any other toy car you would get. Transformation is pretty simple. Though it can kind of be, it can get kind of hard. Especially the first parts when you just have to detach this part. It detaches at the window. There we go. Those are clearly going to become the legs. Split these open. You bring out these two puppies. There's his legs. You take out the arms. Whoops. There we go. In fact, let's zoom out a little bit here. Then you take this little triangle piece on his shoulder down. Whoops. Come on, chest piece, go down. Huh. Is there something I'm doing wrong? Guess I gotta put the arms down some more. There we go. And then the hands come out like this. There we go. And this is Autobot Jazz in his robot mode. For starters, this robot mode, like the vehicle mode, is pretty well designed. It's got, again, you have some more cool colors, and it's actually kind of cool that he looks like a robot, but at the same time you can also see where his car transformation comes into place. These headlights cleverly act like little shoulder pads. I also like his exhaust pipes kind of become gauntlets in a way. like something you would see in, say, Jak 3. He also, surprisingly, he's not that hollow in the back. His back actually looks pretty. Back actually looks pretty cool too, especially with these wheels and this little head protection he comes with. The chest place is also great. You've got these great headlights as well, and you have that fantastic Autobot symbol. The one problem I would have to say is that there's no real lock on his chest plate. This little triangle piece right here, let me lift it up. This little piece right here that goes up and down looks like it would act like some sort of lock, but when you pull his chest down, it just snaps in place with it, but it doesn't really hold it together. So if you move his arms, if you move his arms a lot, you could sometimes get this result. Now, you usually don't have to move his you would, in order to raise his chest plate, you would have to say move his arms up and down a lot, but it would have still been nice to see some sort of chest lock. But that's really the only complaint I have. It's actually fairly easy also to have him stand up without leaning over or bending back. I was actually even able to get him standing up on this soft bed. And lastly, there's the gimmick. You take out the exhaust pipes, and they're connected, and there's a string, and these become his nunchucks. So it's hard to get him, it's kind of hard to get him in his hands. I would recommend taking the string section of the nunchucks and getting the thin part of the nunchucks into his hand first, and then you can drive them deeper into the hand. There we go. So as you can see here, he now has one chuck in one hand, and now for the other, which can also get tricky. There we go. These nunchucks aren't exactly that big. In fact, I think that they're... there we go. Now it's a better front view. I think these nunchucks are a little bit too short and not that big, so to speak. They still look cool, and it's nice to see that they included them and actually had them blend in with the exhaust pipes very well. But at the same time, they're a little bit too small. However, if you're playing with him, they still twirl a lot, as you can see. And the string is also in place. It could be worse. The string could be cheap and fall off easily. So in the end, this is still a decent gimmick. So in the end, let me get into... And also, finally, articulation is great. As usual with the animated series, you have these ball joints and knee joints. You can pretty much get him to stand in any pose where he possibly can. They even twirl and twist. Same thing with his arms. You can even have his hands behind his back. Jazz, you're under arrest. So in the end, this Transformer is very well done, and it gets down to all the major things that a Transformer figure should get right. It's got great articulation, it's got a great design, it's got a great paint job, it's simple enough to transform, but it's also complex, and overall it looks cool and it's show accurate, but simple things could have been avoided that could have made this figure great. We needed a chest lock, and we also could have been without that undercarriage junk below his vehicle mode. But in the end, still, this is a great figure, and I would highly recommend it. If you're a Transformers animated fan, definitely. If you're a Jazz fan, this is a must-have. And if you're a fan of Transformers or toys in general, you're probably going to want to look into this. So in the end, I would give Animated Jazz an 8.6 out of 10. Everything's great, but no chest lock and undercarriage junk hold this back from being perfect. But in the end, it's still a great figure, and I would definitely look into it. So that's all for now, and I'll see all of you guys later. So long live Cybertron, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that good stuff, and bye-bye.
Support Cybertron. Subscribe.